First job today is going to be replacing this skirting board that you can see around here. It's got blowouts down there, and also the customer would like a profile that's a little bit easier to clean. So the first job will be to get all the old skirting off. The next thing to do is get all the old silicone off and like any of this adhesive or bit of plaster that's kind of sticking. The next thing I'm doing is a gross error check. What I don't want is any kind of dips or raises in the floor that's going to throw me out. And already you can see that if I was to fit this flat on the tiles, I'm flush here, but down the other end actually there's around a 2 mil rise. What I'm going to go on to now is fitting the skirting using 4 different joints. There'll be a butt joint which is flat, mitering on external corners, scribing on internal corners, and a scarf. In an ideal world this is going to be 90 degrees, but they aren't always. The easiest way I find is just using one of these because it kind of almost works out the angle for you. And we can see it's not 90, it's 91 degrees. So rather than 45 degrees, this would in fact be a 45.5 degree cut. To achieve that cut, I've obviously butted up against there, come along, and then I used the pencil just along the back to come up, and then I've done a little reminder of which way I need that mitre to come. And we know that from this point, right there at the back, it needs to be 45.5 degrees. So that's the cut made, and you can see that's a real sharp, nice cut. I'm using a fine wood blade on this. And so this is what it should look like when it's finished. You'll use some mitre adhesive to hold it nice and tight together. It should come out from the corner here. Got a couple of brad nails in here just to hold it and some adhesive behind. You've got to decide where you want the butts and where you want this next internal scribing to go. So generally it's where the eye is going to look, that's where you want to scribe into. First thing I've done is 45, the end that's going to be scribed that direction, and that essentially then gives us the profile here, and then I'll get the coping saw out. So here you can see the initial rough cut with the coping saw, but if I look from the side you can see how it slopes just ever so slightly in, and then I'll use the file now just to tidy up that, and then we'll offer it up to the other piece. And so here, just offering it up, you can see there's a nice tight join there. So the next thing to do is just cut this piece to length. The final cut we'll be looking at is a scarf, which is essentially if you've got a piece of wood that isn't long enough, you don't want to do a butt, you don't want to flatten flat because any movement in the wood will open up the gap. So all we're going to do is put a 45 angle and then a 45 angle on the other one, and it will enable us to join the two pieces up. Here we are, job all finished. So you've got things like your butt joints, we've got our mitre joints, it's all been siliconed, decorator's cork at the top, we've got our scribe joints down there, we've got angles that aren't 90 degrees here, all the way around, then we go down there, and that takes us all the way down to that scarf joint which is down there, but that's the whole kitchen complete.